Hey, Couch Potatoes. Welcome back. Now, I know we went on a break around December, and we've been kind of quiet since then. But I want to kind of put an update video to y'all and kind of give you a direct notice of where we plan to go or where we're going with this channel. It's been about 2 years since we started this. Started playing games with a couple of my buddies and expanded to a couple other friends and playing more variety of games than what we started with. And all has been fun, and I love sharing in the laughs and sharing the old days of kicking back on the couch and passing the controller with friends. But as of late, that same interest hasn't really been there. It's not to say that I don't enjoy playing games with my friends. I don't enjoy sharing the laughs with you all. It's just we're not as driven to record as much as we were. Each of us have kind of wanted to focus elsewhere. I personally have started a new focus around mid-July of last year. I started to learn how to get to do some programming, specifically through Godot. For those who don't know what that really means, if what's on the screen hasn't really been indicator enough, I'm learning how to program my own game. It has been definitely a very rocky start for me, as I have never really got into coding, got into programming, or any of that type of stuff. It's never been something I've really wanted to dive into. I've always feared the idea of, best way to say, mixing pleasure with work, or recreation with work. So since I've always loved gaming as a recreation, I never wanted to really taint the world of gaming into it becomes something I've loathed. I've seen it with so many other people where they want to do something that they really love and they love as a hobby, but once they kind of turn it into a profession, the value and love they had as the hobby is no longer there. So I've always stayed away from it. But the approach I took at it this time is more or less like a puzzle. I wanted to see if I could actually do it. And I found one particular video that really helped me with that, from Brack Eyes here, on how to make a game in Godot, a really basic platformer tutorial. And I cannot praise this guy enough for making the video interesting, for doing very well in being beginner friendly to introduce someone how to program into Godot. I followed along with the tutorial. I did a really basic build of something, and it worked. I found other videos later on that kind of gave me a little bit more help, but it's definitely stemmed from Brack Eyes here. So with that, I started moving more into what kind of game do I want to build? What kind of world do I want to build? And I definitely just kept adding on to it. I found myself really in love with the world that I was creating. Again, this all started in July, and we are now in February, and the best way to say is I feel like what I'm going to do with this channel moving forward is I'm going to make it a progress channel. And at the first week of every month, I'm going to do a progress report of what I've done and what I've added into my game. I will still leave some details out because I don't want to do a full dive and full dump of everything here and now. Oops, I'll get to that part in a minute. But as even what I brought up there, I've been using ChatGPT to teach me how to program. Mainly doing my 9-to-5 job, having my own personal time for spending with the wife, playing Magic the Gathering with friends, playing other video games and everything else, and on top of that, even learning Japanese. I've got myself so many places focused. So that's kind of why the channel has been slowly on its last legs. But the game here that I've been working on, I'm calling Experiment 06. The reason for the name is that, yes, my lead character is part of a laboratory experiment. The 06 is part of the Lab 06, and I will get into more details of that later. I am pretty much the only developer into this. I do have my wife giving me not conflicting ideas, but I bounce ideas off her to see if it works as a story, see if it works as something that's interesting, that it's not just something I purely can see. And I have other friends as well that help bounce out ideas, but she has definitely been the main contributor. But as for the game I have here, I have very basics into it. As you see, one little enemy who's been moving around. I don't know how well the quality is going to show on your guys' end of the screen. It's a little drone going around. He goes down, goes up, and moves around. Then I have the one who's just standing there right now dancing around as the lead character, Chip. All of his... For Chip himself, he is hand-drawn with a program called Inkscape. I drew him first on a different program on my phone. Then I drew on Inkscape, made each of the poses I needed, and then poured them all over to go. And if you haven't noticed, he is one-handed. And I was very adamant that his character isn't just a left-right flip. He actually has different character positions for facing left or facing right. And that applies to everything that he does. And that definitely took a lot of work. Another unique thing I did is that his attack, he literally has 4 different types of attacks on the ground, whether it be, but he only attack with one attack button. The game type itself is basically a Mega Man style game. And yes, you could almost see him as the Zero style character. But his attacks will become random without repeating. So, for instance, I'm going to hit the attack button 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I attack again, they're literally still going to be the same be a different type of combo. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I can get the combos to actually work right. So, yeah. I wanted to have something unique into the game itself. I also have dash mechanics built in. And all in all, I definitely have made progress. But it's still, being a solo developer, has been a very slow progress in itself. And as much as I do love the hand art I've made here, I'm having to switch to pixel. Partially because if you can see right where I'm swirling with my mouse, the hand art I brought over isn't clean. But with the pixel art I've been remaking for Chip, it's definitely more consistent, it's cleaner, and hopefully will look a little nicer. On my end here, it is definitely rigid on what I'm seeing, so yeah. The little robot over here, he was a lot bigger and was hand-drawn as well, but when I converted him to pixel, he definitely shrank down. But he looks a little nicer in the smaller form. And when Chip gets conformed, he'll definitely be smaller as well. But yeah, there's not much of the level I've got here yet. And as you can see, his Chip's run animation isn't exactly the smoothest. Come on, there we go. But no, for what I've done alone, I can't deny that I've definitely made progress. I have even made like background pieces and foreground pieces. So like Chip here, all his right-facing postures I've made. There's the robot when he was hand-drawn. yeah, a doorway, the floorboard, left sides. Again, it's a work in progress. And here, I'll switch to the GPT version. As you can see on the left, I have multiple quote-unquote classes, each focusing towards a different character, different section I wanted to build. One chat section is where I've kind of constantly asked it, hey, is this possible? Can we do something like this? If I want this in the game, does this work? So it's a lot of someone I can ask on how is this possible, or I can go to of how can I do this and work on my own schedule, my own time. I have definitely learned a lot from this, and I've definitely learned from a lot of other people that you can't exactly trust GPT to be accurate, as it even says on the bottom. GPT can make mistakes, and I've caught it on some mistakes. And I've had to correct it like, hey, the code you're giving me doesn't work, and not just because the system doesn't say, but because it should be doing this, but you're making it do this kind of thing. So I've definitely learned the language, a decent amount of coding language. But yeah, so I'm sorry for anyone who was eager to look at a lot more of Let's Plays with us and laugh along, but I feel that the better end for me and the better end for our couch mates is that I just kind of shift focus into something I want to do a little more than what we have been doing. So I hope you all still stick around, and hope that as I do more progress reports and kind of show how much I've actually done alone, I get more people to kind of follow along and want to learn kind of like in the same route I have. So yeah, leave a comment below if you guys want to see more or know more or are interested like I was. Hope you all have a good one. Later.